In this video, I'm going to tell you the number one reason you'll never reach your goals. But before I do that, I want to tell you why I've had a hard time making this video and even starting this blog. This is a project that I've wanted to do for the last 3 or 4 months, but I've been afraid because to do it, I have to admit failure. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm fixing to turn 44 in a couple weeks, and around my birthday, I usually sit down and make goals, what I'd like to accomplish in the next year of life. And what I've realized this year is that all the goals I've put down have basically been the same goals I've written down for the last 3 or 5 years. I want to be one of the top salesmen in my company. I want to start a side business where I see a bunch of opportunity and feel like I'm ahead of a trend in an area and want to do that. I want to be a better husband and father. I have income goals. I have weight goals. I have all these goals that basically I've just been rewriting for the last 3 or 5 years. And here is why I have failed in these areas to accomplish these goals, and why I believe you'll never accomplish your own goals, is because of the inner critic in our head, or that voice in our head that tells us that we're not good enough or that we can't do it. It tells me lots of things. But for example, I want to become one of the top salesmen in my company, and I want to turn my business around because it struggles. But I keep telling myself I can't because I didn't grow up in this city, so I don't have the deep connections that other people have, or I don't have the skills that some of these guys have. And all these little voices in my head that may or may not be true, but they stop me from reaching my goals. Or, it doesn't matter what the goal is. I have these voices in my head telling me. And as I've talked to people about this over the last couple of months, we all have these voices in our head. The inner critic, or I just, whatever you want to call them. But it stops us from being what we want to be. It stops us from doing things that we want to do. And so this year, my goal is to pick 3 to 7 things and really focus on them and really determine to overcome the mind, to really become a master of my mind, and not in some metaphysical type way or weird way, but basically how to overcome that inner critic. Because I think all the time he's lying to me and giving me false information. And I'll share more about that in upcoming videos. But I just want to tell you a little bit how I'm going to work this website. Basically, I'm going to pick those 3 to 7 projects to work on, goals, and then I am going to just share my progress here, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm not going to doctor it up and make it look like I'm a great guru. Because if you've talked to me, I have failed more in the 43 years than I have succeeded, especially in some key areas of life. But I want to turn that around. I know it's never too late to turn around, so I'm going to document that turnaround. I'll give you the good, the bad, the ugly, share the victories, and what I learned in the process. And I'll probably do interviews on this site because I'm a big Mixergy fan and like that model, the interviews. If you've never been to Mixergy.com, you can go there and check it out. But I'm going to find people that can help me overcome the inner chatter in my head, help me reach these goals that I have for myself, and I'm going to list them in the text of this post. And I'm just going to interview people and share those interviews on here. And then, hopefully you can learn from me. And my goal, really, to start this is mainly just to keep me accountable. But then I hope that you watch me and say, if this guy can overcome this stuff, I can do it. So we'll see how it goes from there. The last thing is, if you want to subscribe to our blog or website, just hit the button below. And if you subscribe, I'm going to send out an MP3 and an action plan of the process I've actually used this year to think through my goals and to go through them. And it's not the same goal setting process I've been using in years past. So if you'd like to see that, like to get the MP3 of me just talking about the process, then hit the subscribe button. That won't really talk about the inner chatter and that, because that's what I'm going to learn to deal with. I've been trying to deal with it for the last month, and I'm learning a lot of things. So I hope you enjoy the journey, and hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. Maybe leave a comment about what keeps you from accomplishing your goals. But I believe that the number one reason that we don't reach our goals is because that inner voice in our head, and that we allow that voice to stop us from doing things that we can do.